whenever you're trying to replicate nature and do it in this fashion, you kind of play to Mother Nature's rules. With every little problem that you might face, you have to solve it with very complex and creative solutions. It has certainly commanded a deep respect for Mother Nature. The beauty of Mother Nature, but at the same time, she's got some sharp teeth and she can do some devastating things. My name's Nathan Pontious. I live in Dripping Springs, Texas. I've lived here for 3 years. My wife, Remi, and I moved here from Los Angeles.
We used to live right on Crenshaw and Venice Boulevard, so that was like a 6-lane traffic area, and our house was butted right there. So our windows looked at that traffic. And from that to here, it's like...
Currently, we raise sheep, chickens, equine, cows, and pigs, and we're having a really good time doing it. So I will say that growing up on a farm, I definitely never thought I would be back farming and ranching. So it's even a little bit more surprising that I pursued it on my own. So yeah, I mean, I was born and raised, grew up in rural town on a farm, and then at 18 years old, I took off for the Marine Corps. I was gone for 5 years. It took me from being a selfish kid, put the world into perspective. In Marine Corps boot camp, you're equally useless as every other guy next to you. You gotta earn everything. I can't exactly say why, but the first thing that I wanted to do whenever I got out of the Marine Corps was I wanted to compete professionally in CrossFit. So I think I want to say it was like 3 years of building where I'd gotten to like a really good level as a competitive athlete. I was kind of breaking into competing at the highest levels in the West region, and I had a motorcycle wreck. I ruptured my testicle, I fractured 3 fingers, I tore every ligament and muscle in my groins, my glute, my hips, my pelvis. And then so from there, it was another 3-year building to get to the point where I was back at competing at that highest level in CrossFit again. I had my one goal to compete at the CrossFit Games Regionals, which you have to qualify for, and it's a very intense qualifying process. And so once I'd competed on that floor, I was just all done with CrossFit. I had done what I wanted to do with it. I proved absolutely nothing to my own self. It took me a while to really understand why it was so unfulfilling at the end of it. It was because I was doing it for a lot of the wrong reasons, really. After that, I started rescuing and training dogs out of a tiny little art loft in downtown LA. That was where all my time and energy went, working and training with these dogs 24/7. And then in comes Remi. The first activity that we would do together was cooking. We were always cooking together, and for whatever reason, I started collecting up the fruit and vegetable scraps from us cooking, and she was completely cool with me digging a hole in her yard and chucking scraps in there, turning the soil and buying some seeds, growing some tomatoes, and that kind of leading into getting chickens and having our own eggs. I had pushed the limits of what I was legally allowed to do in the city. I was getting fined for unlawful construction of chicken coops. And we're talking several thousands of dollars I was getting fined from the LA City Board. So that was, it's not the lead impetus, but it played a little bit of a part. but mostly just we wanted to be in a good place to raise a family. It's a lot of hard work, but you learn the value of that hard work, and a lot of those lessons I think would be great lessons that I would like to, transfer to my children as well. So right now I've got all of my sheep on this pasture, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna round them up and we're gonna move them onto this pasture to graze. I mean, the main principle that we use with all the animals here is keeping them constantly moving, whether it's every couple days, every week, so that they don't overgraze one particular area. First thing, as the sun's coming up, we try to catch all the sheep while they're still in somewhat of a close group together. We caught them on one pasture, grouped them up, and pushed them onto another pasture to graze so that they don't overgraze one complete pasture too much. This right here is exactly the type of terrain, exactly the type of environment that they're used to. Sheep, the way that they work it, the way that they graze it, it regenerates that soil a little bit better. So then I can bring my cattle on, later after the sheep have done what they do. Once we got done moving the sheep, we got the cows and the sheep all watered. I got goats before I got sheep. They were really integral to clearing out all the really thick, thorny brush and whatnot. This right here, what we see, this is what it looked like when we first got goats. And so they cleared all of this brush right here. It was all grown up over the fence line. And now I could get out here and weed eat it and chop it and everything. Or I could send the goats out here to do that work for me. So that's what we did. I don't think everybody's meant to be a farmer. I don't think everybody needs to be a farmer, but it would certainly benefit people to close that gap, that process of getting closer to your food. Now we're gonna go out onto the first pasture. Those chicken tractors that I've got set up, I just move them. Normally I move them twice a day. I move them into different sections of the pasture, and they do a really good job of just turning that soil over and scratching and pecking, going through the cattle manure and the sheep manure and everything, eating all the bugs out. Hawks were coming in and picking off my hens because my hens would just be wandering around out in the open. And so I started utilizing this system to keep them safe. Basically, they really work this soil really, really nicely for, 12, 15 hours, and I keep them moving. I wouldn't say that I put so much thought into the whole idea of I need to do regenerative practices. Just turns out the way that I've learned that things work best is labeled regenerative. I'm just gonna saddle up Tilly and take her out for a little morning ride to check on the fence lines, see if coyotes dug under any of my fences anywhere. For men in particular, there is a certain element that is it's a provider, and I don't think that's too far removed from our psyche to want to be able to provide food and sustenance for a family. I'll say most all cattle ranchers, they cut their bulls and turn them into steers. Basically, what happens whenever you cut your bull, they no longer produce testosterone. They don't grow as lean and as muscular. If you want beef, because beef is good for you and you're in it for the nutritional value, bull beef is the premium there. Hands down, without a doubt. And then it's more natural. I'm not gonna go out here. Nature doesn't run around and castrate their animals. having that connection to the land and the processes and the natural cycles of nature, like the seasons, and interacting with the animals in nature, it's been really eye-opening for me. I'll say it's helped me grow more spiritually and mature a lot more. I close out every day the same way that I started. I make my runs through the pasture, have a look at all the animals, top off water troughs. You know, Remi and I will finish up the evening chores out on the pasture. The sun is just setting perfectly, and the sheep and cows are just, you know, grazing all around us, and it's just dead silent. The only sound you can hear is sheep and cows just tearing grass. It just hits, and it's like, yes, this is it right here. Like, this is the feeling. This is like the feeling of fulfillment, is right where I should be. It could be overwhelming at times, but then you get those little moments sprinkled in and it just makes it all of it worth it. We go from an environment where our entire life is so ordered and structured, and then we cannot wait to become civilians, but at the same time we go from order and structure to complete chaos. So this type of life, perfect type of structure and purpose, we've got a lot of stuff to keep us busy. We have a reason to wake up every single day. It's like, I gotta care for the animals. I gotta cultivate the soil. I gotta tend to this farm. It's like, well, what's next? Like, more animals? Are you gonna start selling more products? Do you sell to the public? Do you have a website? It's like, I'm really not interested in any of that. I'm interested in raising a family, and that's all.